Hi everybody, a very warm welcome to Success Space, a channel that creates a space for you to create your own success. We will be talking about the subject of geography today. Geography as a subject is generally called the study of the surface of Earth as nature made it, the unevenness of it, what it is made up of. However, today's topic is not just about that natural surface of Earth. Today's topic is about the man's modification to the surface of Earth and this man-made surface of Earth, which brings us to a topic called human geography. People who are listening to me, this topic concerns all those students who are studying geography for higher levels, like doing their graduations, post-graduations, looking for research in that, giving exams like UGC, NET, JRF, and if you're preparing for civil services examination with geography as your optional, this is going to be of immense help for preparing for UPSC, state PCS and similar examinations. So all of you are welcome to this discussion which I'm having today with you. And people who've just come out of curiosity just to know what this topic is about, it's an interesting idea. It'll quite compel you that how time and geography are related. I would say a little bit of it is technical. However, I would cut the technical part, make it easy, make it more relevant. I would also strongly advise that if you can keep a piece of paper with you and some pen so that you can jot down certain things. That is what my intention today. Today's lecture would be divided into two parts. One is, what is this time geography all about? Where did this idea come into? How does it pertains to us? Is it only an academic thing or is it a real thing? And the second part is especially for the students who are really the students of geography and will be writing some examination based on this. For you, I will be looking at how to write an answer. How to write an answer, I have four samples for you, and I would want to show you that where the answer goes right and where the answer is not so good. And you can leave a lasting impact on the examiner if you convey that aspect of answer writing in such a topic where the examiner is truly touched, moved and inspired by your writing. I'm saying it's very easy to write about mountain building, how mountains are formed, something like plate tectonic theory. Probably those theories are very objective and you can draw diagrams and do that. But in human geography, especially perspectives in human geography, it becomes a challenge to connect with the examiner. And I also want to tell you this topic, perspective in human geography, is the philosophy of our subject. It is very close to the heart of the examiner. Now, if you touch that chord with him, he or she is going to give you the maximum marks. But trust me, if you pull the wrong chord, you've had it. There is punishment for that. So I want all of you to be rewarded, and thank you for joining us. My name is Sachin Arora. People who do not know me, last 15 years I have been teaching geography, reading a lot of geography, discussing geography in its various facets, and I thought that these are certain challenging areas which I should be sharing with students. So this discussion would be with certain slides I have prepared for you. I would also want you to take down certain things, and if you have any questions, you can very well write in the comment box. We would be answering all those things. If you can continue, if you want to continue with Success Space, you can very well subscribe to the channel also. Let me bring in the slides for you and the two parts of the lecture after this. So there are two parts of this lecture. First is time geography. What is it? So let me tell you, geography basically deals with the question where. Where are things? Where in space are things? Geography is a spatial discipline. Where in space are things? I hope the audio is fine. Yes. So when we are talking about space, so what is space for you? Space, look around you. Look around you. I can see space. Space is something, it's an aerial expanse of something. Yes. So you can look right, left, forward, behind. It is something of a plane on which you are standing. So geography reads things in space, in where. However, when we talk of this word time, time is when. Time answers the question when. And if you ask me seriously, I think it is the historians who are dealing with this question of time. So I want to tell you at the very onset of this, just a hint for smart students who are listening to me, time geography is something to do with a bridge between history and geography. In real sense, it is aptly called as space-time geography. But then there are students who want quick results. There are students who want quick results. Sir, I don't want to know what is the connection and something like that. Quickly tell me what is it. Well, quick results may not always be beautiful. If you want, I have just flashed a definition of time geography to you. Let's see how helpful it is. Time geography is an individualistic, bottom-up approach to analyzing and simulating human phenomena such as transport, urban and socio-economic systems. Time geography examines how humans allocate scarce time resources among activities in geographical space, the use of transportation, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I have lost it. I don't know where I started. I don't know whether you are with me on this or not. I told you, definitions may not be a very good way to start the topic. In fact, the topic might end you up with a lot of confusion. I'm not getting anything. I am really not getting anything. And trust me, this definition really hides the beauty of idea of time geography. It is so profound. When I talk about it, you will say, oh my God, this is really eureka. But this definition doesn't catch it. And in fact, the key to it, as I said, I am here tonight to give you a key. The key to it lies in the connection between history and geography. But is there a connection between history and geography? Sir, I am a geography student. I did not see much of a connection. I have heard something, but that's there. If you ask a history student, he will also not accept that. So, is there a connection or not? Are you willing to inquire with me? For that, we need to go a little in the past. Let's see the evolution of this idea. You know, whenever we are talking of an idea, it's always good. Where were the first seeds of that idea laid? So, when was it that somebody talked about history and geography together? And who were these people who actually talked about it? So, let me introduce to some people. Are you game? I'm sure you're with me, so you are game for that. So, let's talk about this person, Herodotus. I have taken you to an ancient time, much before Christ. This is the Greek civilization. This is the Greek civilization. There are many people who are roaming about, they are trying to explore the environment around them, the nature around them, and they are having their opinions. And this is where Herodotus comes. He's a historian. He's a historian, some even call him the father of history. And he was of the opinion that geography is the handmaiden of history. Now, many of you do not know what is the meaning of handmaiden. Well, handmaiden can be a companion. I would say a lower companion or a servant companion. So, somebody is saying geography is the handmaiden of history. Well, he's a historian, he would definitely like to downgrade geography. I do not know whether he's downgraded or not, but one thing is for sure, he's talking about a connection. Long ago, I am not saying he's time geography. Please do not get me wrong. Time geography in the modern sense has to come. But I'm looking at some people who are expressing this idea. But I've made a bad start, I guess. I've brought in a historian. Let me bring in a geographer, number one. And why go that past? Why not bring someone from the 20th century, at least if not 21st century? So I bring to you a lady, an American lady, Ellen Churchill Semple. And she, when she was talking about history and geography, she was so opposed to the idea of seeing them separately. She said that if you separate them, they will totally destroy the totality of nature. I can read that out for you. Geography and history cannot be held apart without dismembering what is natural, vital, whole. What is complete, if you bring them together, they will break. So I am a complete human being. You have to see me body and soul. You can't see them separate. So this is what a geographer believes in the 20th century, early 20th century. This is what geography and history is. Two people, a historian says there is a connection, a geographer says there is a connection, though, they have their own fights. A historian would not want the geographer to feel better, geographer would not want a historian to feel better or superior, so they are into this game. So let's bring in, someone who is more profound, who is not a historian, who is not a geographer, who is neutral, who is a philosopher. So you would have heard of a famous philosopher, Immanuel Kant. Immanuel Kant is credited to have given to be the person who gave that philosophical foundation to geography as a discipline. And I want to tell you, he not only gave geography that philosophical foundation, he gave history also that philosophical foundation. In fact, he is credited with treating and proving that both history and geography are two very special disciplines. They are very different from all other sciences. Do we get that? So let me show you what he was saying. Just read the red part. Just read the red part. I'll also read that for you. History and geography find themselves in an exceptional position. These are exceptional areas, different from other systematic sciences. He considers history is temporal, geography is regional, but the red thing he is saying, both fill up the entire circumference of our perception. Hello, that is what Semple was talking about. That is what Semple was talking about. Together they make the whole, you break them, you separate them, and the whole is lost. So he's a philosopher who is also talking about. Perfect. He is not a 20th century philosopher. He's long ago. He was talking about that much before Semple. Okay. A German geographer, another geographer I am bringing to you, Hettner. And I told you that if you are a person who's planning to write some examination, you should be jotting certain things down. So please jot certain things down. Sir, do we have to remember them? I said if you are a student who is thinking, planning to take these examination, planning to take higher studies in geography, planning to write civil services examination, some jottings are needed. Everything you will understand, I know, but then these are easy things. I am saying every teacher, every book is telling the same thing. I am not the first person talking about time geography to students. I am not the last person. I am not the last person. You would have heard it from someone else, you may have understood or not, maybe in the university days when I was doing my masters in geography at JNU. At that time, my understanding of perspectives was much lower, so my appreciation was also much lower. I meet every year beginners, freshers who come to us as students, and their appreciation of geography is very weak. So when we teach them this idea of history, geography and perspectives, they found it, overhead transmission. But if they are serious students, if they keep on studying 1 year, they start appreciating it. They come back to us, they ask us more about this, they discuss with us, and they get deeper meanings. They sometimes meet other teachers also. By that time, we have already made up ground for their understanding. When they meet the other teacher, they have a greater understanding at that time. So many students from various other teachers come to me, and when I am talking, they say, oh, last time I did not, when I was in the university, I did not understand. Today I understand. I am saying, understanding is a function of you also evolving with time. Yes. So if you can write, so he was a German geographer. He says both history and geography are essentially chronological. The word chron is to do with time. So they are arranged in time. That again connects them to time. What am I talking about? I am talking about some connection between history and geography. I've taken the liberty of using German words over here because I have seen in UPSC, examiner even uses German words. So time Wissenschaft and space Wissenschaft. So time science and space science. Nothing difficult, but this is what a modern scholar, Hettner, had to talk about this. I am not saying these are the only scholars. There are many more scholars who would have talked about it. What am I trying to establish? I am just trying to establish that there is a connection. There is a connection, like a mother has a connection with the baby in the womb, that umbilical cord. There is some connection between history and geography, and time geography is precisely about talking about that connection. If you can do that, that's the job done. Again saying that all this is the backdrop of this idea. This idea has to take birth. I have not taken birth in this. So the idea will take birth in 1960s and 70s. But I am taking you behind that. Why am I taking you behind that? Because there are some people who are talking about connection, but as disciplines, I want to tell you, as disciplines, both of these disciplines are not willing to acknowledge each other's importance. So I want to tell you that both geographers and historians resisted this umbilical connection till modern times. They knew deep down that we are connected. We make things together. But then, it's my job. Why should I get it compromised? Why should the history professor be better than the geography professor? Yes or no? So they were not coming together. Till the Second World War, 1950s, the dichotomy, the difference continued, though there were undercurrents that there is some connection. 1960s, this whole idea takes a new turn and comes the birth of time geography as we know it today. Okay, so the person that I'm going to talk about is a Swedish geographer. His name is Torsten Hägerstrand. He is credited with amazing works, but when I read his work on space-time geography, it really gave me goosebumps. I said, what profoundness he's talking about. So you should read how he was given the task in Sweden and how he was studying migration out of Sweden when Sweden was on its path to development. How people migrated from Sweden to America and how people who could not afford the ticket to reach America, how they migrated within that. Yes, and this is where he talks about, just to give you an example, that say for example you and I are listening, I am speaking, you are listening to me from your house. Yes, your house is in a village or a city, your village or a city is in a state, your state is in a country. Yes or no? So all that is space. Yes, but can you compare your living, your life with your great grandfather's life? Can you compare what geographical activities, what advancements, what challenges you face today with the challenges which your great grandfather, great grandparents were facing? Those times were different. The land was the same, the territory was the same, the place, the space may have been the same. But with time, it acquires a new character. I want to tell you, South Asia, 100 years ago, was a colony. And in the 1940s, when liberation happened, when freedom was given to them, today new countries have been carved out of them. So who could have 100 years ago thought of countries going into war with each other? On the same region going into war with each other. They were the same country. They were participating in a freedom struggle. People were trying to come together. Indians, the nationalists were coming together and they wanted to overthrow the British rule. But today when I look at the same South Asia, I see countries, I see border conflicts over there, I see life loss happening over there. So just the space will not be enough. It is about time also. So Hägerstrand, when he looked at that, he suddenly realized that we operate only in a plane, x-axis and y-axis. Yes, that is space. But space 100 years ago, space 50 years ago, and space now, past, present and future, and 50 years from now, that space would acquire a different character. So if somebody is looking at a space, he should be mindful of what time frame he is talking about. And he talks about not just an x and y frame, he talks about a vertical component, time component. So I know this sounds a little theoretical. I would want to make it easy for you. I would want to relate it to the real things. I have just given you an example of India in its freedom struggle. I will give you more examples. But for that, let us listen to or let us look at what Hägerstrand was talking about. 1970s, a different handling of time had started to emerge. And you will see geographers and historians, or space and time, they were seen more as equals. Till now there was a conflict, but in 70s things changed. And in 60s, time may be tracked back, this considerable use of time may be tracked back to Hägerstrand space-time analysis. Study of human activities and movements in space and time. We just not move in space, we move in time also. So probably you were living in your village or your city as a kid, as a schoolgoer. Yes, your world was that limited. But today you are in the college or probably you are a professional. Your world is far different. You cannot meet the same friends. You can't spend the same time with your family. You don't have the same school vacations. So how could you talk of geography irrespective of time? Every geography must be mindful of time. This is what he was talking about. I just gave you an example of this. Let me give you one more example, one more very simple example, and then let us understand. Okay. So I'm talking about, let me come on the full screen. That would probably set things better for us. And if you want, you can jot down certain things also. So let me take three areas from India. One is Kerala. One is Maharashtra, the state of Maharashtra, and third is Bihar. You know, Kerala is a southernmost and coastal state of India. In recent climate change, because of climate change, last 2 years have been very difficult for Kerala because of flooding happening over there. So I'm talking about Kerala. I'm talking about Maharashtra is a big state. It is a mix of industrial state as well as an agrarian state. In fact, it's a huge state. Some part of it lies on the windward side of Western Ghat, which is rainy, and some part of it, or rather a big part of it, lies on the rain shadow part of Western Ghat, makes it semi-arid. So that's the state of Maharashtra. Agrarian as well as industrial. Let me jump to another state, which is Bihar. Bihar is an agrarian state, doesn't have much resources, doesn't have much industry, but a huge population and a huge density of population. In fact, in India, it is known for its out-migration. People migrating out of Bihar to work in other states. That's what these three states are. Now, please make note of that. I want you to take it on a pen and a pencil. June 2019. I am talking to you in 2020. So let's write down. I've written June 2019. Who am I? I am a geographer. I am an urban planner. I am an advisor to the government of India. So I looked at Kerala. Kerala's challenges, spatial challenges. What are the challenges? Coastal location, cyclones coming in, flooding happening, too much of rain, cloudburst happening, and many things over there. So I create a plan for that. How to develop Kerala. In fact, it is Western Ghat. It is home to amazing biodiversity. Many things are there. Human resource, natural resources. Keeping that in mind, I create a plan. June 2019, development for Kerala. Second plan I submitted to my urban planners and government of India about Maharashtra. I said you should plan differently for places which are west of Western Ghat and east of that. So Marathwada and Vidarbha, big regions which are semi-arid, different plan for them. And western part, Mumbai, Ratnagiri, very different plan for them. In fact, they are ports also, so they will have that advantage. So I planned differently for them. I have submitted that plan with the government. Third plan. Get that? That is for Bihar. How to make Bihar rise again. How to have growth options within Bihar. How can river Ganga and transportation on that National Waterway 1 can be a radial axis along which the growth can come up. How can we create jobs over there? How can that agricultural state be taken to the next level of agro-based industries? How can prosperity be brought into those areas, and how can issues of flooding because of being in the Tarai region and Himalayan rivers coming and a constant flood problem over there, how can we deal with that? So I prepare a plan. When June 2019, that plan has been submitted to the government. Is everyone okay with that? That is a geographer working. But tell me, I am in 2020, June 2020, it has been 1 year. Tell me, is that plan equally valid? If you did not get the hint what I am hinting at, I am saying in the wake of corona pandemic, have the priorities of the government changed? Has the funding with the government changed? Yes or no? And tell me, did the center government in India announce that freeze on any more new programs? Whatever are the programs, only do that. So now things will change. Please get that. Space remains the same. Space remains the same, but with time, a new dimension has come. Who thought that the world which was going towards development will get into this pandemic? Who thought of that? There were people who were talking about that. Thomas Robert Malthus had talked about crisis looming large, humanity will face all these things. I do not know whether he was a doomsday preacher or whether he was an alarm to the world, caution, a word of caution to the world. But when the fact is that with time things change. So Tor Hägerstrand was saying that if you are a person who thinks of space only as a horizontal or an x and y axis, you are forgetting there must be a time. That is what Hägerstrand was. I was very inspired by his work, and in fact you will be inspired more by his work if you get to see him working. Would you want to be? Okay, so let me bring Hägerstrand to all of you. So this is Hägerstrand in discussion, and let us see what Hägerstrand has to say. Would you want to listen to Hägerstrand for 2 minutes? Just for 2 minutes on his work. In fact, Hägerstrand here, let me come on the screen for a minute. Hägerstrand here is saying that I was fighting with this idea that space is only regions, and there was a difference. People were not taking my idea seriously, but when they took my idea seriously, I really shared that how things happened. And when I saw his worksheets for the first time, I said, wow, this is amazing. This was practical field work that this person has done. So let's listen to Hägerstrand and let's see this, what comes out in this.
Conclusion of what I tried to do in the 40s, but given the way people understood geography or so, how could you dare to try to do that at that time? But now I find it fascinating, of course, to use my own way of describing the population through time on myself.
Yes,
I have actually made a diagram here of my own life story, or a couple of diagrams. So here is Europe. I have indicated the most important places where I've been doing serious work. And then these are the places through the 20th century. And I have marked where I have been trying to do something or where I have existed.
And in the background are some world events like the two world wars, I take it.
For example, yes. But also the emergence of new technologies, for example, broadcasting, television, air transportation, and what have you. And you have all those important books in influencing people's scientific understanding and so on. It could all be brought in.
Do you think that time geography effort gave you a chance to marry those two interests you have? One, the kind of methodological interest in using clever little ways of combining data and so on, methodologically, and the other interest of planning society and taking care of leveling out differences and so on. Do you think it has succeeded in doing that?
Yeah, in a sense, I think it makes me understand something which I also picked up in a paper by Vining, I think it was, that planning is essentially a question of distributing constraints. It's not the question of telling people what to do. But there are some things which they shouldn't do.
So it's police.
No, not necessarily. This must be agreed upon, but there are things that's my view. You might see.
That was Thor Hägerstrand for you, talking about his work. And for people who are preparing for this examination, you would also like to see, what he had done in practical sense. His work is not just theory, which doesn't have tangible things. In fact, he belongs to that model-making generation where he has used mathematics, he has used geometry, he has used designs to actually put all that data quantitatively to arrive at what would be space-time geography. So I take you to something, some of his graphs. Don't worry, don't be in a hurry. It's just an absolutely easy thing. So can you see this green area? So green area is the space, side by side. So space, can you see that? Side by side. But x and y axis, he adds one more dimension. What is that dimension? Before and afterness. One is side by sidedness, and other is before and afterness of a phenomena. So if somebody has to study a phenomena in geography, be it urban development, be it flood control, be it disaster management, don't just study it side by side. Study it before and after also. And can you see this beautiful line which he calls as now line? There was something in the past, there is something in the future. A geographer should not ignore what was in the past, what will be in the future. And he went a step further. He gave us some probabilistic mathematical models where you can even predict what will be the future path. For that, I have something for you. Two things which I have. One is the time-space aquarium and the time-space prism. A moment I talk about this, you want to jump off your chair and leave this discussion. So how do we make it happen? So time-space aquarium, when we are talking about this time-space aquarium, let me make it easy for you, everyone. So this is you. This is you at any given point in space, okay? So you are here in the morning at your home. You spend your day 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10, 11 and 12 p.m. you decided to change. Where did you go? You decided to go to your college. Do you get that? So as long as you were at the same space till 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. you were there. Then you decided to go to the college, you took this path. Get that? Now there is your friend. That friend also came to the college and here you met together. You met each other. This is called the bundle. So bundling has happened. And after college, your teacher taught you time geography, you understood it and you left and you came back home. You came back home, you know time geography, okay, you do not know time geography, up to you. This is what I am saying, that this is what he said, the geography which we study at one plane, he says study it in time also. Study it in time also. Yes, let me make it that you have spent 5 years at home with your parents as a kid. Then you spent 12 years in the schools. 12 plus 3 years in school plus college, say for example, and then in life you became a successful professional and this person not so successful. People track different paths. How is it that they spend the same time, the same space, one person is successful, other is not? Well, there are many constraints. There are many constraints and obstacles. This is what Hägerstrand is talking about, that if somebody wants to study, don't just study the space, study what happened in time also. And he even goes to the extent of predicting, that we can even predict some future, and that is called potential path area. And a prism is created, this is called PPA. So TS is the start time, can you see that? TE is the end time. And if you are talking about any place T, where will you reach? Well, you will reach PPA, potential path area, which is a function of AT and BT. PB and PA, we are talking about, these are positions, you can see that, positions in present and the past. Sir, I am getting a little bit of it, but this is too technical. I can't even note it down. How will I show it on a diagram? It is very difficult. Well, that's where I am saying there is a human face to it. So I take these programs with my students, Human Geography Curriculum. 2020 Master Stroke is also another writing program where students are looking into how to make crisp and meaningful notes. Can you see them? Just have a look. If you were not able to write down, you can write now also. The concept of time geography was developed by Hägerstrand. What are its components? Individual, path, elementary event, bundle, prism, project, constraints. So who's an individual? You are an individual. What is the path? So you are an individual, you are at your home. Can you see this diagram? You are planning to go to the market. So the second place is market. So space in the x-axis and time in the y-axis. Get that? You're planning to go to the market. You're just planning. Now you started moving out. So you're walking to the market. What have you done? You walked to the market and then what did you do? You purchased an item. Maybe somebody else came in here. Somebody else came in here and the two of you were able to bargain. Now you walk back and you're unpacking the item. So this is space-time, individual's path. So that's the path. Elementary events. What events will happen? Oh, in the events there can be coupling. 2 or more people will come together. Yes, coupling, you can come in touch with each other, stay together, disengage, everything can happen. And bundling. What is happening? Several individual paths when they come together, that is called bundling, which we just saw in the previous slide. Do we get that? So this is going to happen. But then remember, there will be obstacles. There will be obstacles. What will be the obstacles? Capability. Not everyone is biologically capable. Not everyone has the same accessibility. Coupling. Remember, coupling can happen. Some people have machines, some people do not have. Yes. Authority. Sometimes the government laws and rules. Say for example, in strict lockdowns, when the governments are in lockdowns, they are not allowing you to have your own natural path. So the government says that you cannot club together. Do we get that? So this is what I am trying to relate, that whenever we are talking about this space-time geography, there will be constraints, and a prism is about past, future. You can predict it. How? individual, which depends on location of points, time and transportation. Sir, I am sort of understanding this, but is it for real? Is somebody using it? Well, you did not look at this project. Remember, I said project for Maharashtra, project for Bihar, project for Kerala. I am an urban planner. If I want to plan for them, what should I have? I should set up a goal, and that goal should be set up not only in space but also in time. That's the real part of it. So please don't be nervous. Absorb. Pause this video for a minute. Pause this video for a minute. See what we have talked about. And if you still want to know more, I also can show you the uses of it. Amazing uses of it. Applications. So time geography, where can it be applied? Urban and regional planning. Remember, not just space, time also. Transportation and communication research. Organization of production and work. Everyday life. Sir, how will I write that? See, I have a sample for writing also. Time space geography can be used for transportation. Can you see transportation, railway line flights? Imagine air traffic is coming. So imagine in your city metro train is there. Yes. Will the metro traffic be same at all times? Remember, the office hours will be peak times. So the planner does not have to plan for space. He has to plan for the peak hours also. Likewise, I would want to talk about some seasonal diseases. So the planner knows that during the monsoon season, there is a chance of vector-borne diseases, malaria, filariae can be there. In the Terai region of India, brain fever, encephalitis can be there. So those are seasonal ones. So there, the government has to work on that. Municipal public works department, just think about it. The drainage system of a city has to be cleaned before monsoon. I'm saying these are the plans. Security management, very, very important. Can you see, we had some issues, we are facing some issues in India with Chinese incursion in Galawan Valley. Yes, so though the issue is that nobody has crossed the line, everything is there, but on LAC we had skirmishes. We are okay with that, but when the fact is that there is a challenge, and we want to know what is happening on either side of the border. Now think about satellite imagery. Satellite imagery in time tells us what kind of military build-up, what kind of infrastructure build-up is happening on either side of LAC. And from that, it largely suggests the Chinese were going on a big military build-up for a long time over there. I even read from some of the articles that there was some work, even heavy work happening, probably involving the damming of the river also. How can I get to know that? Through time geography, not just the space. In time it changed. Can we handle it? Yes, we can. Surveillance system has to be handled accordingly. Yes or no? So if you are looking at a particular border is becoming a flashpoint, just space won't matter. The time, the news will matter over there. And think about disaster management. The cyclones which were coming, Nisarga cyclone came, Amphan came. Imagine, like cyclone probability is always there. Those areas are prone to cyclone. But with time, what angle are the cyclone coming to? Say for example, Maharashtra, when it was coming, I was very, very clear on the western coast, the cyclones can never be as severe as the Bay of Bengal cyclones. It happens because of recurving, no doubt about that. If you haven't seen my recurving video, you can log into our channel. In the playlist, you can go and see the video on an answer writing discussion on recurving of cyclone also. So, disaster management, satellite surveillance, it is of very, very important. It is very, very important, prime importance. Do we get that? So, this was what I had to talk about in this. However, since you are still feeling, oh my God, I am understanding little bit, but that's the problem with this. This is quantification. This is mathematization of human behavior. Can all human behaviors be mathematized? Just tell me. You are listening to my video and suddenly, you have a mood swing and you stop this video and you go. Nobody can tell you that you should not go. Come on, it is beneficial. You're giving this examination. If your concepts are clear, after this, we will be discussing about how to write an answer on this. Oh my God, I have had enough. I am not feeling well. Perfectly okay. I'm saying human emotions, humans' moods, human temperaments. And we are saying mathematically we are going to predict the path. So you went to the college for probably education, higher education, and there you fell in love. You generally don't see much sense after that. So you are very, very keen on your different goal which has come over there. Yes or no? So human beings, capturing them, very difficult. Lack of detail, can you read the red one? Lack of detailed individual level data. Where do we get this data? Analytical tools and can realistically represent. Who knew? The talks were happening, diplomatic talks were happening between India and China. Who knew that on the border there will be a skirmish? Who knew that will happen? Who knew that there will be life loss also? Can a space-time prism just predict that? Oh my God, very difficult to predict. That individual movement in space and time is a complex trajectory. How would we get that? So I know there was a phase of geography in 1950s to 70s which wanted to make everything into a mathematical model. This is called quantitative revolution, and time geography is a product of that. Time geography is very good for that. In fact, if I am looking at humanistic geographers, probably they would also be okay with that human beings and this thing, but the uniqueness is somewhere I feel is not captured in this. So cannot be seen as from that humanist point of view. But is it of use? Oh yes, it is of use. I just gave you real world examples. The only constraint is we don't have data, we don't have the processing abilities, but who said we won't have them in future? We human beings are transcending technological barriers. So the prospect is, with increasing availability of geo-referenced individual level data, improvements in representation geo-computation is happening. Just imagine, YouTube suggests you what videos you should want. Google also knows what are your preferences. How come they know your preferences? All your data, whatever you search, goes into the computers, and that virtual imagination and virtual those computations are able to find out what kind of a person you are. Yeah, you can fool them. You can definitely fool them. So when I am searching for YouTube, I search random things. एक बार YouTube भी सोचेगा, भाई इसको चाहिए क्या? Even the YouTube thinks, oh my God, what this person is looking for. In fact, I give my phone to my son also, my wife also. I said, please search on YouTube whatever you like. YouTube is confused. I also like to give it to my father and mother also. You also search something on YouTube and Google. Whenever I go to them, I make sure, please search something. You can't catch me. Yes or no? That's what is space-time geography. I end this first part, and I hope you have a sigh of relief. What was time geography? I hope you have understood that it was a connection between space and time. Tor Hägerstrand was able to see that, and Tor Hägerstrand said that it is futile. It is futile if we just look at the plane x and y axis. We must look at things in time. That's what is there. Yes, he's done some technical work, which we saw, those paths, those prisms, those aquariums. I tried to make you understand also. You can very well access all this material in the link given below. Yes, the Telegram group we are working on. There is this YouTube channel also. You can subscribe to it. More of it is coming over there in the Telegram group. Best answers are also posted on that. Whatever you saw, if you were not able to write down, you can have access to this also. You're invited to that. Get that? I want to come to a bigger one now, the second part, which is answer writing. So if you're a person who just wanted to know it, good, you've known it. Let me raise the bar, the challenge to answer writing. So answer writing for human geography is very different from answer writing of anything else, especially physical geography. And this is where we find a very big challenge. We find so many students opting for geography in UPSC thinking that geography is a scoring optional because it is very objective, it is based on cause and effect analysis, it will involve some diagrams, some flowcharts, and I am done with that. Yes, you are correct with that. You're correct with that, but there comes a half of geography which is human geography. Human geography is not that objective, it is subjective. Human geography, you have to think and link. Human geography, you have to break the discipline barriers. You have to think the answer, you have to give the answer for geography, but think in the historico-political context also. So it has to break the disciplinary barrier. Now, here I want to give a piece of caution. If you develop this ability of thinking across the borders, across papers, across subjects yourself, you will see things crystal clear and you will be able to express it to the examiner. But if you borrow it from some notes without much understanding of it, and if you artificially put it inside, there you become a trap. There many people who are writing this examination get trapped, because then the examiner is able to catch a copycat. So there I use a term generally for that it ends up being fancy words. Those are real terms. Those terms are real. They are a part of the syllabus. Everything is there. But a user who is not accustomed to it, user who doesn't know much about it, he's just copied it, he's just borrowed it without understanding, you will be caught. So that's the whole intention. Now, let's get beyond this discussion. Let's get into this, that what is the difference and why is it that so many people find it a challenge to score in human geography. And second thing is perspective in human geography. Perspectives in human geography becomes another formidable area where out of fear, I was just talking about time geography, it is a perspective. Where out of the fear of all those prism and all those things, we just say, okay, I don't understand much, let me mug it up. So you mug it up. You can very well mug it up. But then I'm saying the question will not be exactly the same what you've mugged up. The question will have a specific demand on that. So that is going to make it a challenge for us. And I want to tell you, a challenge also comes because of your background. Just to give you an example of geography, many students with science background for civil services examination, be it central level or state level, opt for geography because it is objective. But I want to tell you, the challenge in answering human geography is because of this background difference, science versus social science. So all the science students listening to me, this is an important thing for you. Please have a look at this and tell me, were you told in your growing years how to prove a plus b whole square is equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab? All you have to do is open the brackets a plus b into a plus b and multiply it. Will you get that or not? Yes, remember that or not? And if that comes, you get full marks. Perfect. How can you tell me a solution, a liquid, whether it is acidic or basic? Science students, is there any test for that? Think about it. You can write in the comment box. Yes, if you thought it is the litmus test, it is true. The litmus paper, moment you dip into acid or base, its color change will tell you whether it is acidic or basic. Students with humanities background, I want to tell you acidic solutions and basic solutions, depending upon their pH, will cause a special kind of paper to change color, and that color paper is called litmus paper. So you can check it. There is no doubt after that. So you want to get your blood checked, yes, and you want to see what are your sugar levels, blood sugar levels. Well, the test will check you objectively. Yes or no? 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. How do we prove it? So I put 2 sticks and then 2 sticks and I count all of them, they become 4. So everything in science has a definite answer and a favorite entry for all of you. LHS is equal to RHS. Remember? Everyone is LHS is equal to RHS. That's what we are talking about. But in human geography, things change. Number 1. You went to the doctor, you got a blood test done, you got your blood sugar level done. That's objectively done. He measured your blood pressure. That's objectively done. But tell me, can someone measure your emotions? Can doctor tell you whether you are depressed or not? There is no measure to that. A very big surprise came to us in the surprise suicide case of Sushant Singh Rajput. Objectively thinking, he is a successful actor at the peak of his game. But subjectively speaking, I do not know what made him take this drastic step. So science students love objectivity, but reality and human geography are not objective. They are very subjective. Tell me, do we have a fixed answer of ways to eradicate corruption? Do we have a fixed answer what will be the socio-cultural impact of corona pandemic? Can you give me a fixed answer? Can you give me a quantified answer? Is human population an asset or a liability? So if you go to the Malthusian times, he said no, human population beyond a point is going to be unsustainable. limits to growth, another model which says that human growth limits are there and population is a very big factor in that. But then there are people who believe that population, if trained, can be an asset. Today, the population is needed to find the solution to their own problems. In fact, population has been given a new name, social capital, by Robert Putnam. In fact, all experts in the world, they can take either side. They can take either side that population is a liability, population is an asset. But the fact remains that the debate is there. Human geography is about debates. Physical geography is about results and judgments. So in physical geography, you can very well do that. But in human geography, that's the challenge. Here, you cannot write LHS is equal to RHS. And if you cannot write LHS is equal to RHS, then what is going to make our answer fetch us marks? That is what precisely I'm going to talk about today. So if you can't write LHS is equal to RHS, how will you prove what you wanted to show to the examiner? Here, the litmus test is missing. Here, you can't just open the bracket and solve the equation. How would you do that? So if I have an opinion, if I have an argument, why should the examiner believe? So here, human geography tools come. And I'm not saying human geography, I've used the word social science. If you are a sociology student, if you are a public administration student, you will need this. You will very well need this. So if I'm saying something and I have data and fact to support that, will you agree or not? So this is not LHS is equal to RHS. I am saying, see, I am saying this and this is data in support. If you don't have data and facts, what do you have? Oh, I have examples and case studies to support what I am saying. If you don't have examples and case studies, expert opinion. Expert opinion. So Indian economy, where is it going in these corona times? Who's an expert? An economist is an expert. I am not an expert. So I say, well, economy is in this thing, economy is in a coma, we must do something. You might say, oh my God, you are a critic of the government. The government is saying everything is okay. So I say, okay, what should I do? I am saying Raghuram Rajan said, former RBI governor. So you're saying, oh, he is also a critic. I don't agree with that. Okay, expert opinion. How about Abhijit Banerjee and Amartya Sen? These are Nobel laureates. Experts. I am not saying that. Banerjee is saying that. Amartya Sen is saying that. Can I use them? I just gave an example of geography, economics. Why? Because these three are the important ingredients of a GS answers also, general studies answer also. Except for science, you will need that. Any other optional, you will need that if you are a social science optional. So geography, the diagrams and maps are there. But to make your thing valid, you need something. And I want to add something very, very important here for perspectives in human geography. Your answer is incomplete if you do not take the support of thinkers and scholars of your discipline. So PubAd fellow would require the PubAd scholars. Geography fellow would require geographers. History fellow would require historians. Sociologists, they will be required in sociology. So their comments are needed. So if I am talking about time geography and I do not bring in what the scholars have said, I do not bring in the work of Hägerstrand, my answer would be incomplete. If I just talk about, I gave you 3 examples how to plan for Kerala, Maharashtra and Bihar, and you write that and you're happy. See how I showed the examiner how this thing works. It's absolutely okay. But who are you? You are nobody in geography. You are nobody in geography. Probably to clear an examination, 3-4 months ago, you started reading geography. 4 दिन की मोहब्बत है आपकी. You just fallen in love with this subject. Or not even fallen in love with this subject, you've just mugged up from somewhere. So he doesn't respect you much, but he respects Hägerstrand, he respects Immanuel Kant, he respects Ellen Semple, he respects Ratzel, he respects Ritter, those names. Some of you are wondering, should I write those names or not when I showed you the slide? You should have. If you're writing this examination, you will need that. If your teachers have given you those names, you should have them. Just don't be happy with them. I want to tell you one very important thing. A good answer will break disciplinary barriers. I know that. I am not saying that you do not link. Please get this very, very clear. I am saying artificially somebody linked for you and you are copying without mind. Then the problem comes. Perspective needs thinkers, not to show off, but if you genuinely know their work. Now, I would want to show you demonstrations where people have been told to show off and they have shown off. Now, if you check these students that don't show off here, if somebody, just brag that my notes are enough and mujhse ho jayega, you are just copying it, think about it. Think about it. This is the top examination of the country. It will require intelligent people. It will require intelligent people, so they are expecting that whatever your teachers and books have given to you, digest them and then write. Undigested, just putting it to throw some names, drop some names, I call them fancy words. Please get the word fancy words. I am not saying those words are wrong. I am not saying those sentences are wrong. I am not saying those thinkers are wrong. I am not saying that you don't include them. I am saying if you are doing that artificially, I know what they mean and you as an answer writer do not know what they mean, but you are just throwing it because somebody told you. Fancy words. Do we get the English? What is fancy words? I am not saying I know what the syllabus is. I have been, since my master's days when I was reading geography at JNU. I know all these things. I know the syllabus. Please. But I am just saying that if you do not know it and artificially you start to insert them, then they become fancy terms. How can I catch? Well, even you can catch. Even you can catch. So, let us show you that. So, would you like to see some answers on this? Thank you for being patient. But I am showing you how the examiner can catch, how the examiner can see that how a thinker has been used intelligently and how the same thinker and the same concept can become a fancy word or a pretentious use of language So, you are the evaluator. So, no writing, now you are just observing, and on a scale of 10, you are going to give marks. Are you interested? So, let me take you back to some of the answers. Let us come to an answer. Let me go out of the screen so that you can read these answers. They are expanded for you. Explain the concept of time geography. This is what it says. And the person writes, much of 20th century geography remained dominated by non-temporal regional approach patterned on Kantian view. I would say, very technical way of writing it, non-temporal regional approach patterned on Kantian view. He said geography is different from history. I think I just told you that Kant said that both of them are special. Both of them are special, but together they make our perception complete. So I am okay with geography dominated with non-temporal regional approach, that's okay. But was it because of Kant? I have a question on that. Anyways, but as people studied actual landscape, they realized being and becoming of landscapes are intimately related. Again, a very poetic use of language. I have some questions also on this, but maybe this person is very, very intelligent. Maybe this person is a highly, high intellect person and he is able to write it poetically, maybe. We will have to see his whole answer, because if he is able to write it poetically and do justice to the question, he is amazing, he must get a record score. But if he is pretending, then all this will turn into what? Fancy words. So let us look at another answer. Just the introduction. I have just brought in the introduction. Explain the concept of time geography. Time geography is a constraint-oriented approach to understanding human activities in space and time. Yes, remember those constraints? It recognizes that humans have fundamental spatial and temporal limitations. Okay? It was promulgated by Swedish geographer T. Hägerstrand during 1960s. He aimed at providing a counterbalance to increasing specialization and fragmentation of science and tech by providing holistic, all-encompassing spatio-temporal conditions. That's also okay. This person has not given the context that what was the fight, but has come on the topic straight away. Two topics, one was poetic, other person is on the topic bang on. This marks 4.2 by 10, don't go by that. This is the students' own marks. So when they submit their answers on this initiative, I want to tell you, when they submit their answers on this initiative, I tell my students that they are supposed to write their own marks, so that when I evaluate, they also get to know that how much they were expecting and how much I am giving. Do we get that? So that's the time geography, and 2 answers. Let me come back to the poetic answer of our friend and let us see, does he continue with that? Now to you know the concept. Let us go further. I think he should be starting talking about Hägerstrand by now. So the second part of the first page is concept. Time geography relates to analysis of patterns and processes with respect to time and space. Okay, accepted. Time can be seen as factor. Change through time was part of Darwin's evolution theory, Davis theory, landform structure. Yeah, I agree that Darwin was talking about with time, species evolve. I also agree that W.M. Davis was talking about landforms evolve in time. These are stage models. They are only time. They are not space. They are mostly time-centric. Remember, the cyclic model is a time-centric model. I don't know, this person has added something which may not be doing all justice to this question. This is not wrong, but this is not doing justice to this question. Okay, resource. Hägerstrand in his study Innovation Diffusion studied the spread of any phenomena over space through time. Well, innovation diffusion, I think Hägerstrand made the time geography study and used it in innovation diffusion. So time geography study is a separate thing. I don't think this person, again, though he is poetic, but he has hit the nail on the head. I missed it. Stage in cultural evolution. Carl Saar studied cultural landscape, impact of human action in modifying. That's okay, but where is space and time coming together? Yes, human beings are modifying. I am modifying the space in x-axis and y-axis. Where is the z-axis? Now everyone, you are the evaluator. I want to ask you people. Is this question doing justice by the knowledge that person has, or is this question going away here and there with some sentences which sound fancy, which sound correct, but it's just a collage of that. I hope you get what is fancy sentence. Let's continue with this second one. Let's read the paper. Okay, this person goes for a diagram, space-time path. All activities are spatially distributed in space-time and are available for limited duration. So this is origin, this is destination, there is a path, and the prism lies in between x-axis. Oh my god, this person is bang on target. This person is moving correct. Okay, first page done, everyone. Then this person also goes to constraints. Very good. So what is the idea and what are the constraints? That's also there. So very well explained. Now this person goes a little step further and takes us to a real world example. Railway station, market, bus stand, restaurant. These are the in space you can be there. City planning, considering traffic movement. Oh, very good. Space-time prism can help in city planning, traffic, market. Oh, he is connected to the real world also. What are the application? ST paths, transport mapping, being a bottom-up individual. Oh, very good, yeah. This person is bang on target. Let us go to the poet friend once again. So let me expand this poet friend's answer. What are we expecting? Now this person should be making a diagram. He should be telling us what was Hägerstrand's work, because that is the question. Yes or no? Can we take this poetry for long? Let us look at the second page of this person. Oh my god, the second page is just this much. There is nothing on Hägerstrand. I know it is a little difficult to read. Let me read for you. Works: Darwin, Evolution Across Time, Hägerstrand, Innovation Diffusion. Whittle say, oh my god, he's just throwing some names. He's throwing Ratzel, Whittle say, Darwin, Hägerstrand, Schluter. This person doesn't even know what the concept is and he is throwing some names. Everyone, will I be wrong to write a remark on this? Please stop using fancy words. Can I use this remark? Or if I find these things fancy, that means I don't know this. I know this. I have just taught you. I hope you know what I know. I have been doing this for my master's days, 15 years ago when I was doing this at JNU. Very, very different thing. I know what is there. Should I write a remark on this, that this is coaching notes? Even if your coaching teacher is offended by that, अरे उसको नहीं आता. अरे यार, I am to just saying one thing. I know it. I have caught the student. You have also looked at the student. Let me show you the second page of the other answer who has given us everything in this. After this, what does this person give us? Let us look at this second page. Second page is about this thing, application. What is it? Although it is a challenging task for modeling subjective, human behaviors are subjective, it helps in addressing many challenges reason. So this person cautions also that there is a limitation to this. Now everyone, are you with me on this or not? You have seen two answers. You have seen two answers. I hope you understand. When I write a remark in your answer, that please stop dropping these fancy terms. That does not mean I am ignorant, I don't know the syllabus. I know it all. I was able to catch your ignorance. I was even able to catch your superstitious belief that if you blindly copy something and put it, that is going to be a fiasco. And trust me, in my own ethics, I need to warn you about that, so I warn you. And if you take it, no, my master told me this, my teacher told me this, how can you say against him? Bhai yaar, I am to just saying that you are the evaluator, you just saw that somebody just copied it. Other person also, this answer, the second answer which is good answer, that has also been picked up from a good book only, no? This person would have also read that or not? I am not saying that this person has written fancy things. This person is not into pretentious writing. The first person was into pretentious writing. Let us look at this also. Explain the concept of time geography. Explain the concept of time geography. Third answer. Are you okay with the third answer? I said I'll give you 4 answers. Third answer. So time geography is an approach in human geography that sees time and space as a resource and put constraints on human. Absolutely okay, Hägerstrand. I personally want to say that if you put in the context in the first thing, remember there was an evolution to this, you will be a little more wise. So I told this person in my remark, why not start with a larger context? This is an evaluated answer which I am showing you. Okay. Now this person says time geography examines the social organization of time and space rather than temporal and spatial organization of society. Now this is again I would say a sentence that does not carry a lot of addition to the explanation, but okay, that's the language which perspectives has, so we have to. So this is space, time, 1, 2, prism has also been made, so this person has practiced it, and there are certain constraints, capability constraint, authority constraint, coupling constraint, absolutely okay, we have taken that. Let's go to the second page. Second page, time geography constitutes a worldview that everybody is subject to confinement in time and space within the limits bounded by. Now these similar things this person has already said, no? So I suggested that this person should have taken this sentence on the top. Why is this sentence coming here? And then this person writes time geography covers all dimensions of human geography, man, environment. Oh my god, this sentence should have also come in the introduction or in the first part only. Can you see that people out of their fear are just arranging some collection of sentences here and there and saving themselves. Positivists supported it, humanists, the concept of diorama, saw it empowering human agency, that's okay. So with development of information, so I've said good content but improperly sequenced. I would request you, you are evaluators, we have read 3 answers. One answer was poetically hiding the ignorance that the person had. Second was bang on, right, hitting the nail on the head. Third person has taken support from books and notes, but unfortunately doesn't know the concept very clearly, is not able to weave them. And in the end, the fourth answer is the BAP of all. The person who has shown maturity, the person who has shown everything in this, I want you to be serious about this and tell me, how did you like the last answer? Time geography. I'll read out for you. I'll again go out of the screen. One of the greatest urges of mankind is to holistically understand spatio-temporal process on Earth's surface. Simple sentence, no poetry. Time geography, which is an evolving field composed of interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary approaches, aims to understand geographical process related to social intervention, economic mobilization, disaster management. Perfect. The context is there, summary is there. No pretentious language. Historical roots, can we see the heading? So he's going with the history. Herodotus in his analogy of interdependence, history and geography, Immanuel Kant's conception of exceptionalism, and Karl Saar's idea of transformation of physical gave deeper insights into this. So he has not unnecessarily expanded this area, because this is not the answer, no? Remember historical roots? This is just to tell the examiner that I know the historical roots. Now let's look at the concept. Remember, the question is explain. So he has to explain the concept. Remember, the poetic answer did not even touch upon the concept. So conceptual development. So what is the conceptual development? Potential. This is the start time. This is the prism. Everyone has done that. Tor Hägerstrand's work has been there. Applications. Now he comes to the application. So this page I have already shown you that in air traffic, I told you railway traffic, MRTS, security management, he does that. Application is also done. And then he says limitation. So even in Corona, that person has shown the Corona pandemic. He says government has launched Rau'sIAS app. Just imagine, the person is able to relate to it, real life things. Are you people listening to me, can you relate space-time geography to the present one? Now that shows person's wisdom. He's not using fancy words. This boy is applying things here. Come on, please understand this. Don't be blinded, superstitious in this, that my remarks teacher wrote fancy word and my teacher told you that teacher doesn't know anything. Arey bhai, every teacher knows everything. Geography has been taught from so many years. Geography fix hai, aisa kuch change nahi hota hai. All of us have done that. I have given the UPSC examination. I have gone to my interviews. I would not know it or what. So I know it. I am just saying, fancy use of words means you have copied from somewhere and the examiner was able to catch you. That is called fancy use. Please get this correct. This person was able to really connect it with the real thing. So Rau'sIAS also comes, and then he goes to mapping. Beautiful. Now this is innovation. Everyone, trust me, the examiner salutes innovation. Bhai. Time geography, in spite of becoming a separate discipline, has become just more transdisciplinary, where the concept is used more as means in diverse field of interest. Time geography has created deeper levels of integration between interdisciplinary, intradisciplinary, and made geography more enriching. Oh, there is an element of conclusion also. All of you saw these answers. All of you heard these answers. My request to all of you is, what is your evaluation? You are smarter than me. I believe that. You have more potential than me. I also believe that if shepherded in the right direction, you will produce amazing results. You will transform this world. If there is something wrong, I will question that. Every teacher has a way of putting a remark. So I have a way of putting a remark that if you are caught just putting mindlessly things, I call it pretentious use of language. I call it fancy terms, fancy for you, not in reality. Those are terms very much in geography, but for you, they've just been borrowed. You just saw 4 answers. First was poetic, pretentious. Second was bang on, head pe maar raha hai, bahut sahi maar raha hai. But thoda sa wisdom. Wisdom would have been, like going a little beyond the topic, going into the context of it, going into the summary of it. Third person was, like I would say, a fearful person who knows it, but not very confident, and the concept clarity is not there. So what happens is you just beg, borrow, steal, somehow arrange them. And the fourth person knows it, is working on it, is explaining to you so that you can really be inspired. The teacher was touched, moved and inspired, where he was able to use space-time geography and trying to connect it with even a pandemic and how to deal with it. Rau'sIAS, that would have struck him, and then he wrote that. If you are able to do that, trust me, the world will bow down to you. The world will bow down to your teacher also who made you, or the books also who made you to reach this level. And if somebody corrects you, be humble enough here. Somebody is giving his time and energy to give you a feedback. In this initiative, the Telegram initiative, which is there in the comment box, daily hundreds of questions come. I am really, at times repelled by some answers, but I still give that answer. Who is doing that? No teacher is doing that, nobody is correcting them, but yes, commentary everyone has. You can do whatever. I am saying I know what work I am doing. And it's my bounden duty to tell that if people are going on the wrong track, at least tell them, advise them, and the better answers are there, no? You had 4 answers, no? You can choose whichever are there. If I am saying, no, you are wrong, no, I am giving you the right also. I know that. I just taught you what is time geography. Look at that. Get that? If you need these samples, they are very much a part of the initiative. You can have them free. The Telegram link, which was being flashed, you can very well go on that Telegram link and you can very well join it. Every video I give a homework. First of all of you patiently heard me. Why don't you write your own answer? It's a challenge. No, I am challenging you. You write the answer. Don't look at these 4 model answers. You write the answers and then you can, on the Telegram initiative, you join it. The model answer is already there. Yes? So answer writing takes a lot of time. Okay, so you can write in the comment box. Let's see, are you a thinking person or not? Think about it. We just saw, somebody applying it in regional development and all that. What real life uses of time geography can you see around you? Can you do that? That much will be magic. If you can do that, that will be magic. That means you are understanding. I'll also get that. It's like a thumbs up for me, my student is understanding. In fact, I would want, if you can, like it, I would know that thumbs up is, my student understood it, good work, sir. Thank you for making it easy for us. And this Success Space channel is a space which helps you in you creating your own success. So I'll be inspired to do that. If you can share this video, I feel, geography, especially perspective in human geography, many students find this area very challenging. They are unnecessarily trying to mug up things, understand it, and the job is done. And you have 4 samples also. You have 4 important samples also. So you can very well do that. So please like and share the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not. We saw something called as Human Geography Curriculum and Master Stroke Test Series. So Human Geography, I have seen Human Geography. I just told you that Human Geography is a bigger challenge than Physical Geography and many people are still struggling for that. So these programs I offer, 2020 Human Geography Curriculum. If you are on the Telegram group, already some planners have been launched on that. Master Stroke is a test series, very coveted test series. One thing is for sure that I am the evaluator and my evaluation is prompt also. Everybody agrees, the students agree, even other teachers agree here, someplace somebody is evaluating promptly. So do that. If you want, that's there. If you don't know about these initiatives, there are 3 initiatives apart from that channel which we have, Success Space. One is UPSC with Sachin Sir. There I put in daily questions. Students write their answers. These questions can be from GS or in civil services examination. This can be of geography optional also. I do that. If you're precisely looking only for geography optional, that is geography with Sachin Sir. And if you are a beginner and you're looking at the basic crisp notes so that you don't waste too much time in that, we have a channel called GS Crisp Notes where crisp notes are put on that. You can very well have them. It was a pleasure talking to all of you. I hope I made your participation meaningful. I hope your confidence has grown in challenging topics like time geography. I hope your understanding about geography as a discipline has also grown in this. The geography is an interesting discipline. If you're a person who is pursuing your masters in geography, if you're looking more into geography, this is a real applied field, and a lot of future in this, So work on this, and thanks a lot for spending this time which you have had. And it was a pleasure being with you. If you've not subscribed to the channel, my request is please subscribe to the channel. You'll get a lot of more such information and more such lectures in this. If you have a particular topic or theme in perspective in human geography in your mind, please put that in the comment box. In my previous videos, students had put those in the comment box. That's why I took up this topic. I also want to tell you, on this channel, there is a playlist in which we have promised 20 lectures on answer writing. 20 lectures on answer writing, what are the basic steps, what are the challenges and how to deal with them. In all of them, we have model answers also, so that you can rate them together, and that is in the playlist. So in this channel, go to the playlist immediately after that and you can very well have a look at that also. So thanks a lot, and the initiative is in front of you. You can choose to join any of the details. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.